happy Tuesday. We have such a special treat for everyone today because you get to meet some folks that maybe are behind the scenes at Lumio, but everything that you do every day has to do with these two gentlemen here. Joe and Manat, you guys want to take an intro here?
Hi, everyone. I'm Joe Copeland. I'm Manager of Product Management for Lumio.
And I'm Manat McLeod. I am one of the product managers on the Lumio team.
We absolutely could not survive without these two. They are always doing so much, whether it's helping us answer so many questions, making Lumio the best that it can be, hearing and reading all of your feedback and seeing what can be done next. So I know one of the main features that we've really been talking a lot about is our AI assist. It has been something that we were really waiting for. We were really excited to have. And the team has been really reading through your feedback and seeing what can be done to make it even better than it already is. So guys, what are some changes that users can expect to see kind of based on the feedback that you've been getting?
Yeah, Manat, why don't you tell us what we've learned after we released AI Assist for quiz generation, and then what we learned from that and brought into AI lesson generation?
Sure. Quiz generation was, sort of the jump off for us. That was our starting point per se. And it allowed users to quickly create quiz-based activities just using a single prompt. And sure enough, shortly after releasing that feature, we got lots of questions about, well, what's it going to take to get an entire Lumio lesson generated for me using AI? And so we went back, did some refactoring of our infrastructure, but pretty quickly, like within 6 months, I think, we were able to get into a beta that allowed users to enter in a prompt, enter in any standards that they'd like, and we were able to generate a full lesson, not only a lesson with content relative to their, relevant to a teacher's prompts, but also with activities, right? So activities built right in so that students with devices could participate in the lessons. So that was our release into the wild, I'd say, like last winter. And we've been gathering feedback this whole time. And the feedback's been fantastic. Thank you to everybody who's provided feedback for us. And among the things that we've heard that I think are the most impactful that you should expect to see coming up are one of the big things was teachers really wanted more flexible lesson layouts and more templates that they could select from, right? So we're going to absolutely be providing that in the near-ish future. So you'll be able to, instead of getting sort of a static lesson structure that you get now, you kind of get the same lesson structure every time. You'll get something a lot more dynamic and a lot more tailored to the scenario that you're going to be using the lesson in, whether it's a in-class live scenario or a asynchronous kind of take-home scenario. And then we'll be sort of pivoting on a teacher's, like their depth of knowledge, like what they're looking for as far as the depth of knowledge of the lesson. So you'll see variability with the length and rigor of the lessons. And then another big piece of feedback was the inclusion of images. So we'll have images that will be included in the lessons as well to provide visual guides for teachers and students.
That is quite a lot.
I'd say one of the other big things that came is there is a lot of teachers that they already have existing lesson materials that they imported from Notebook or PowerPoint or PDF maybe that they got from their curriculum provider. So we're working on what we call AI Enhance next. So AI Assist will let you add activities based on the content of a file that you've got open in the edit experience based on what we've learned through our AI lesson. So even more opportunities to have AI help you save time.
That's really exciting. There's so many good things coming. And again, a lot of these fixes or updates, enhances, they really come because as a user, you guys are submitting your feedback. There's different ways that you can do that. When you're logged into Lumio in the top right corner, next to your little icon, mine happens to be my picture. Yours might just show your initials. Right to the left of it, there is a question mark there that you can click on. And if you go all the way down at the bottom, there is a button there that'll ask you for feedback. And so it's a really cool platform. You can go on there and you can search to see if someone has already submitted that idea, and then you can upvote. which is really neat. Or you can just start a brand new chain. You can share with your colleagues if it's something that you're feeling really passionate. It'll help you in the classroom. You can share those out and everyone can vote on those. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of what that feedback kind of goes through with your team?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so one of the sort of most exciting things that we get out of that process is when we go into the feedback and we hear things that maybe we haven't thought of before, right? We get to sort of understand. It just provides us with additional insight into a teacher's day, into the challenges that they're facing, and specifically how we can help them. And while we like to think that we have a pretty good ear to the ground on that, it's super interesting and useful when we get ideas that are sort of outside of our consciousness, right? So we love to receive any and all feedback, but we definitely take all the feedback, synthesize it, prioritize it, have lots of hard decisions, hard discussions about what's the biggest bang for the buck, the what might have the biggest impact, and then we divide and execute and figure out how to get those features to our users as quickly as possible.
Now, before we went live, Manat, there was a feature that was coming that you were talking about that I know personally I've seen a lot in that feedback form. Do you think you could maybe share with the crowd what it was?
Sure. Sneak preview time, I guess. So one of the things we've heard a lot over the past couple of years is that in the handouts feature, which is a super popular feature in Notebook, teachers would like a live sort of thumbnail view of what's happening with each student. So currently what happens is a teacher needs to click on one student's work in order to see what they're doing, and then you sort of advance one student to the next. In this upcoming feature, from a bird's eye view, you'll be able to see your entire class's work in thumbnails, like live, right? So you have a high-level overview of what everybody's doing, where you can focus your attention if you have some students that are struggling, some students who are way ahead who could maybe provide help to their neighbors. These type of insights are things that this live thumbnail view are intended to help with. So yeah, we're excited about that.
I'm personally really excited from like a classroom management perspective. It's going to be so good to really be able to see all the action happening. If you guys haven't seen, our handouts have gotten so many updates in the last few months, and really from our Facebook group, if you're not part of it yet, I have to say it was probably our most frequently asked question of, hey, I do lots of individual handouts. I would love to export them because they help with portfolios, feedback giving to my students, parent-teacher conferences, tracking progress. And so now you'll notice when you have an individual handout, when you go back into review mode in your class sessions, you'll now have a button that says Export PDF. And you've got two different options. You can either export all the handouts into one PDF, where you now in beta also have the ability to select just a couple students. Maybe I know Joe's parents are coming in and I just want to see Joe's work just to show his parents. I can just export that in one individual handout as well. Joe, any thoughts from you?
No, that's really big. Being able to capture the handouts in a PDF so that you can give them to a teaching assistant to grade, for example. Another common use case I hear. So just opening up the door to those improved workflows in the classroom, I think, is huge for teachers.
I know that everyone is really excited. Like I mentioned, there's just a few ways for you to submit feedback. When you're inside of Lumio, you're logged in on your homepage, top right corner, there's going to be a drop down to the left of your little badge in the top right corner. There's a button there for feedback. Also, always feel free to join our Facebook group, Lumio Educators. Joe himself is pretty active in there. So if you've got some questions, some ideas, one of us will answer. It'll get to Manat's desk, and then we'll get hard to work. So thank you both for being here today. Thanks, everyone, for hopping on, and we'll see you at the next Lumio Live.
Thanks, Meesh. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, all.